So this is a what's in the box. I I questioned on occasion whether it would actually happen. The game took yeah, that long to come out, really. Through for various reasons, which we won't really go into in this video, to be honest. So Sturmwind limited edition. As you can see, really nice kind of yeah, it's almost like an old VHS box, to be honest, but really nice quality. It's very well put together. And there we go. In here we've got obviously some kind of schematics of the ship itself. There's a little model of the main ship in the game also included in here. You can see that there. So yeah, it's an interesting little model. And it feels a bit like a rock, actually. It feels a bit like a stone. I mean, yeah, it's all kind of nicely put together. And okay, in here we've got the main game itself. This is what you basically get in the standard edition. I'll have a look at that in a minute. There's a little kind of guidebook in here showing you the bosses, which is kind of quite nice. It's all in English. And there's a soundtrack in here as well. So yeah, 17 track soundtrack. So yeah, all kind of nicely put together. So I'll have a look in the main game thing as well. As you can see, it's got the Japanese colouring on the actual design of the game. And there's game disc itself, and that's the cover that you're kind of probably quite used to in all the promotional work for this game. And full colour guidebook, really quite nicely presented as well. It's a very professional, put together piece of kit, really, really nice. So well worth the wait. Very happy with this. So I guess in the next part we'll discuss how the game plays, and I'll put some footage on at the end as well. So yeah, let's move on. So then, year on year passes since the last official Dreamcast release, and every year you think there can't be another independent game coming out in the system, and year on year the Dreamcast surprises, and this year is an absolute bumper year. Potentially 4 games out this year for the Dreamcast that are shoot 'em ups, not including I think there's an RPG or 2 coming out for the system as well. Absolutely stunning console, and one that refuses to die. It's probably a reflection of the fact that the console kind of was finished before its time, really. And whilst it can, we're still getting these great ports on the system, or original games, who's to say it can't go on, really? But yeah, I mean, without further ado, this is, there we go, a completely and utterly new original game for the Dreamcast. Issues with this coming out, I won't go into those. This is all about the game, really. And as you can see from the earlier section in this video, Duranic have put together a fantastic shoot 'em up package, one for fans. It wasn't cheap when it came out. The the special edition, and unfortunately you can't get hold of it anymore. And I'd say if you're going to jump on board with it, the eBay prices that it's out there for at the moment seem excessive, but I'd jump on it because, especially the limited edition, I suspect it's going to fly, because it was only a limited run. Basically everyone that pre-ordered it got it, so PlayAsia got a supply of it as well, and that'll be their pre-order. They'll have said I wanted X amount of units, so it seems like eBay's the only place where you can get new copies at the moment. So I'd jump on it. Whether Duranic do a re-release or a second print, that's still to be seen, really. You get lots of nice extras with the limited edition package, but the standard edition package still in stock. You want to play the game, it's fantastic. About 35 quid I reckon it should cost you. Game itself, a lot's been talked about it graphically, and it's astounding. Quite easily one of the best looking Dreamcast shoot 'em ups, I think. Yeah, those backgrounds, there's so much detail, so much going on. Explosions are amazing, lots of variety in the enemies and the boss characters as well. They're all kind of really nicely designed. So on that front, it's pretty exceptional. Definitely up to the quality of a proper release. Could have quite easily have been a proper release back in the day, graphically. Sound wise, lots of chunky explosions, lots of nice effects. Has to be said, the music on it's not my cup of tea, but when it comes to shoot 'em ups, as long as it's got a good kind of pace to it, I don't mind what kind of style music is in the background. And initially I wasn't too keen on the music in this game. I like my kind of soundtracks to be, you know, a bit of a faster pace. Even if that's just the boss battles, there's a shift, and then there's a kind of like, I don't know, it's just something that kind of reflects the gravity of what's going on in the game. And initially I wasn't that taken by the soundtrack. It has to be said, playing the game a while, the music's really well executed, and it does suit the game. Yeah, I mean, going back to the graphics, I suppose it's got a bit of a rap for kind of like for being a typical Euro shmup before people actually got out there and played it, as in kind of lovely graphics. Shame about the gameplay, and I was just going to see if I've got an example of a Euro shmup that kind of lives by that rule, but I can't seem to find a copy of the game that I was going to show. Doesn't matter. No, doesn't. It's not a hand, it doesn't matter. But when you actually play the game, you realise that kind of those worries kind of dissipate quite quickly. Whilst it does feel European, it also feels Japanese too. Yeah, the level structures and the boss battles, the way the game plays, you know. The problem with a lot of those European style shoot 'em ups was the fact that the weapons were severely underpowered, like, you know, pea shooter weapons, or the mid weapons system overly complicated. There's none of that in this. It's about blasting. It's about using your weapons with a bit of strategy, but you can also kind of play the game pretty easy just by using one weapon all the way through it. Strangely, I think it plays better on the joypad, which I think a few people have kind of said that before. They found it easier using the triggers. There's an interesting system where you shoot pressing the trigger changes your weapon, and it also changes the direction that you're actually shooting. And you can actually make your weapon, if it's facing one way, face the other way, or in the case of one of the lasers, make it fire one way and then fire the other way at the same time. I think that's a 3-way laser. There's a power-up system. It's an interesting power-up system where you can get extra floating orbs, or you can just choose to power up your laser, or you can just collect the credits. Just purely go for the scoring aspect, and power up your weapons to a certain level. Effectively, with each life, you've got 3 hits. Every time your weapon gets hit, you lose one. Again, the system seems a little complicated, but it's not. It becomes second nature very quickly, and yeah, the game's just eases you into difficulty. I did kind of quite think that the game was quite easy initially, after playing the arcade mode. But I think it's just paced just right. To be honest, it reveals with every playthrough, it reveals a little bit more, and the learning curve certainly there. If you're a bit of a shmup nut, then I think you'll find you getting through the arcade mode relatively soon. But saying that, there's a story mode in there, and it's a hell of a lot of levels. 16 levels, so there's plenty to keep you busy. The arcade mode has got 6 levels, I think. There's unlockables in there. It's the first game, I believe, that's compatible with the SD card adapter, so you can save replays and your high scores, stuff like that. And the levels of presentation all the way through the game are top notch. So it is actually a surprisingly good shoot 'em up, and there's nothing like it really on the Dreamcast. Duranic have done a very good job of releasing a very professional game. It seems to me like it has been tested, and it's nicely balanced. So I do heartily recommend it. What was I going? There was I did have one criticism, and I can't remember what it was now. Yeah, I think it was maybe the fact that it does rely on a certain level of memorisation, but a lot of these. A lot of shoot-em-ups do, so I mean, I suppose that's a tiny criticism, and I'm just, yeah, I'm conscious sometimes I'm overly positive about these games, and you might get it and you might not like it. So it's strange. It does remind me of some of those classic Amiga shoot-em-ups that looked amazing, but unlike those, it plays very well. Let's say, and it's fun. It's fun more than anything. It's a definite throwback. It doesn't rely on on curtains and curtains of bullets. There are certain patterns there to kind of avoid, but it's not bullet hell by any stretch of the imagination. And I do love my horizontal scrollers, and it's a good example. I'm looking forward to playing it a lot more, and I believe a benchmark is being set here for indie developments on the DC. It's taken a long time to get here, but the wait has definitely been worth it. So that's what I think of Sturmwind. I probably waffled on a bit too long there, but I've played it quite a lot of the last few days, and it's definitely worth exploring. So I suppose I'll do this old school like I used to do, and like I used to do in the old computer magazines, where you're talking about percentages out of 100. And I'll give it a strong 84, 85, something like that. It's a good game. It's a good game. I mean, it's not full of depth, but and I suppose the storyline is a bit fluff, but you expect that from shoot 'em ups. But what it does very well. So 85%, I think that's a good score. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next shoot 'em up video, which is probably going to be Dodonpachi Saidaioju when that arrives. I've got it on kind of expedited delivery, so it should be here very, very soon, hopefully for the weekend. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.